The case of the Grimes sisters has all the makings of a Lifetime movie. Small town, big city dreams, evil lurking in the shadows. But unlike fiction, this story ended not with a satisfying conclusion, but a bone-chilling mystery. So let's recap. In 1950s Chicago, two teenage sisters, Barbara and Patricia Grimes, get all dolled up to catch an Elvis movie. They're supposed to be home by midnight, but they never make it back. Now, cops usually don't take missing person reports seriously until someone is missing for 24 hours. But this is 1956 and everyone is worried because these two sisters, they were just good kids. So the mother goes to the police. And within hours, hundreds of officers and thousands of volunteers are combing the streets. Everyone is looking for the two sisters. And I mean everyone, including Elvis. He records a message begging the girls to come home. It's hard to overstate how huge this manhunt is. Every available cop is on the case. They're questioning everyone, checking every lead. But as the days pass, the hope does too. Then on January 22nd, 1957, a man named Leonard Prescott takes his wife for a drive in Willow Springs, Illinois, and he spots something in a ditch, what he thinks are mannequins. And when he goes to investigate, he finds the bodies of the Grimes sisters. They'd have been dead for almost a month, and they'd have been lying in that ditch exposed to the elements. So the police now have a homicide investigation. How did these girls die? Well, that's where things get confusing. First, the police say the girls probably froze to death after wandering around in the snow. And honestly, that seems pretty plausible. I mean, the temperature was well below freezing at night. The girls were wearing light coats, not snow coats. They wandered several miles from their home. So maybe this isn't a murder case. Maybe this is a tragic accident. But the more police learn, the more confused they become. There are signs that Barbara was hit in the head, like major trauma, enough to kill her. Plus, Patricia has small puncture wounds on her chest. You know, if these were accidental injuries, that would be a crazy coincidence. So the police reopen the investigation and start all over. Now, they interview dozens of people. Some claim to have seen the girls at a bar or a train station or in a car with a couple of men, but most of the leads pan out. And soon the focus returns to the original theory that these girls froze to death. But there's one more twist. A man named Max Fleek claims that he was at the theater that night and he saw the girls leave with two men. Then he saw them again, naked except for their shoes, which were full of sand. He didn't want to get involved, so he let them go. And then he confessed to his girlfriend, who told her parents, who told the police. Now, in any normal murder investigation, this would be a big deal. You have an eyewitness. But this isn't a normal murder investigation. This is a murder investigation in the 1950s. And back then, eyewitness accounts weren't really admissible. They could get you a conviction, sure, but they weren't considered reliable. So the police ignored what Mr. Fleek had to say and eventually cleared him. That was 1957. Today we know eyewitness accounts can be wrong, sometimes even deadly wrong. We also know that confessions are only good if the person actually committed the crime. And let's not forget about physical evidence, or lack thereof. Like what happened to the Grimes girls' clothes. They were hitchhiking. Why were they still wearing their good clothes after being dragged into a ditch? Was that to throw off the cops? These are the kinds of questions that could be answered with a little forensics, like DNA testing. But back then, DNA testing wasn't a thing. In fact, DNA wasn't even discovered until 1953. So all the police had was eyewitness testimony, which, as we know, is super unreliable. So the clues started piling up, but the police couldn't put it all together. They missed the connection between this case and the famous Hollywood murders, the connection between the ransom note and the man who confessed to a different murder. The cold case went cold. For decades, no one looked at the Grimes case until 2002, when a retired cop took another look. He noticed similar details: the 1955 murders of two boys, the weird ransom note, and the unsolved murder of a young girl. But his warnings fell on deaf ears until 2018, when Netflix released its series, Mindhunter. Suddenly, everyone was talking about the Grimes case, and more importantly, they wanted answers. Today, the case is still open, and the killer still unidentified. You can read all the news articles and police reports, can watch hours of interviews with the investigators and family members, but one thing you won't find: a definitive answer. And that is one mystery we would like to solve. Thank you for watching this episode of Unsolved. Did you believe the official story, or do you think there's something more to this case? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you're the first to know when a new episode drops.